That's odd.
Welcome, everybody, to Dallas Personal Robotics Group Robot Builders Night Virtual for March 24th, 2026. Tonight, we will do our normal presentation projects and then open it up for open mic. Anyone that has a question or comment. So, tonight, want to bring up for housekeeping, May 2026. We have our annual Roborama competitions, and it'll feature quick trip, line following, advanced, barrel racing, 6-can, 4-square, and sumo. So you're encouraged, get a robot together, bring it out, have some fun and compete, or just come out to watch. It'll be at the Dallas Makerspace, and starting, I believe, at 10 a.m. local time on, is it May 24th?
Sounds about right.
Okay. Saturday, it's the Saturday, I believe it's May 24th. Then the other announcement I have is for our DPRG March monthly meeting will feature a talk by the creator of the Maker's Pet robot kit. Maker's Pet is an inexpensive differential drive robot with LIDAR and a turnkey ROS 2 software that lets it map its environment using SLAM and navigate within the map. Details for the meeting will be both in person and virtual, with the presenter being online from Los Angeles. After the presentation, question and answer, they'll have a robot show and tell. Bring your projects to show off. Pizza will be served at noon. There will be a door buzzer at the front door. If you ring it, somebody will come and let you in. So Saturday, March 28th, 10 a.m.
Sounds good.
So I guess we'll get started with our first presenter. We have Mark.
Straight up. All right. So as you know, Doug and I are working on a float and line follower for Eastfield College next month, or actually in a couple of weeks now. Doug was tasked with the robot part, the front end, the engine, and I was tasked with the float to the back half. And originally I was going to do a simple float with a few lights and have like a workbench and little figures, like just not moving, probably a little bit moving. I had them like build robots on the back of this float. And then I got home and I thought, well, I need to do more. So I'm actually going to try, well, I'm getting there, try and have a mini Roborama going on the float, an active one. So I don't know if you're familiar with model areas, but there's a thing called MagnaRail, and it's basically a chain that runs under a dial, and it has magnets on, and it'll pull around whatever's magnetized to the top. And I thought that would be great, but I don't make them as small as I needed because this float that I have to work with is only 150, so 6 inches by maybe 8 inches, pretty tiny. But I got to starting on modeling a small chain that could be run through a couple motors, and I got all the bits here. I'll show you in a second. It's been quite an iterative process. I've been having a lot of prototypes, a lot of printing, which is perfect for the bamboo. But let me switch cameras so I can start showing this off. And it's almost working. Pretty close. Anyway, all right. So let me switch the camera down so I can try and show you right here. Okay. So these are, and they're just over a centimeter long. Let me zoom up a little bit so you can see a bit more. There we go. Might focus. Yeah, just over a centimeter long, and they have obviously a peg on one side and a matching hole on the other, and then in the middle is a big enough slot for a 4mm magnet. And obviously these will, this is my original iteration, so they're just like click together, and you can build up a nice big chain, of which I have quite a few. I made a few iterations of this, My final, which is the current one, I was able to do a print in place, so it won't come apart when I feed it through. Because hang on, come on, camera. Yeah, so this is print in place. Whoa, come on. So it prints in a circle on the bed. I just happened to have one right there that I printed last night. Mostly because all of this is in PLA. But with the track being PLA, I figured I'd do the track in PETG because they know a bit more slick to run around the track. So this is all print in place. So this will snap and then hopefully not break, but it'll loosen up into a nice fluid chain. So it came out really good. And then of course I had the gears to play with. So this was my first little iteration of the gear. Pretty basic. Used a generator on this is all done on shape as well, by the way. So I used the gears, and then I also added the top part, and I had some rubber O-rings to go around this. And the O-rings will squeeze against the chain, basically push it through the track. So I did that. There's another iteration, and then can't see. More iterations, and then this one was almost the final one, and that obviously has a hole for mounting. I also did some track samples, see how tight a curve I could make. So get it pretty tight, which is pretty good. This is just a sample of. I kept all this because the college wanted us to like show how we built things and stuff. So I figured I'd keep some of this and we can throw it into the presentation when we get there. But yeah, so yeah, these would fit views and whatnot. So it looks pretty darn good so far. I did do a couple of tracks. This one is going to be a 6-cam. So smaller than the line following track, but big enough. And obviously this would fit just in here. And yeah, being the print in place, I had to measure it kind of carefully to fit, but it does fit. It's pretty fun. Yeah, and then I went on to the bigger track, which is the line following. This one was a lot of fun. This is actually printed in 2 parts. I printed the track separately, and I was like, well, I'll just glue it to a base. So, sorry, that's not in focus, is it? So I printed it to the base. Obviously made a hole for the motors. I've got some N20s to power it. I think they're 100 RPM. But I have a speed controller as well, which I can turn down if I need to. So yeah, so made that, and that obviously fits kind of snug, but they do fit kind of get in there. A little hard to get that one in, but it goes in and it works, and it pulls it through. But I was realizing that the track was, sorry, my camera is misbehaving. Yeah, so the track is a little too high for what I wanted. I need to be like really flush so that it would hit the O-rings nicely. So this is my latest and greatest cushion, complete with O-rings. This one is printed with the track and the base all in one. And I used the hollow function on shape to like hollow it out, make it lighter, because obviously weight's going to be a thing. I also made a little mounting port for the N20, so that is mounted on there, and it does work. I did try it. I got some power here as well. I can power it up if I need to, and then literally threw this together, so don't work too hard. But I got one of the Waveshare a mini S3 ESP S3, a TB66612 FNG speed controller, and then just a little 5-volt. Come on. A little buck just to bring the voltage down. I have a battery for this, and I tried to find the smallest battery that I had. And it is small, but it's like 11 volts. It's like a 3S battery. So, but connector for that. I forgot the switch. I gotta cut this and mount a switch so we can turn it on and off, because that might be important. Yeah. So some connections for some NeoPixels, because we want to have some lights. But yeah, so I've got the 2 tracks. So it's 2 motors and the NeoPixels, probably a dozen NeoPixels at most. Yeah, that's about it for that. Power-wise, I can cheat it a little bit. If I can just mount this somewhere where I'm just gonna down here. Oh, very fancy mounting system. Come on, tilt it down a little bit. There we go. Excuse my belly. All right, so let me just pull out that S3. Don't try this at home, kids. So, thankfully, it's a decent motor, so it doesn't matter which way around it goes. But let's see, actually, no. Let's try the new one real quick. Oh wait, no. So this original chain that I have, it's a little sticky actually. This one, I don't know why, but this one does have the magnets installed on it, and I put 2 in because obviously the bot's going to want to know where to go. So I put 2 so that I could make it directional. And that works really good too. Yeah, this chain is really, really tight. Hopefully this works. You watch it, probably won't. But here's my little. In hindsight, maybe I should have made this a different color for the demonstration, but there we go. Actually, you know what? Let's see real quick. I have some styrene. I'm going to use styrene for the floor just because it's the slickest thing I have at the house. And now I can't. Yeah. There it is. Okay. So something like that. And then you watch it go into demo mode and not work. Yeah. I need more hands if I need. This is where I need code. All right. Oop. Of course it's going the wrong way around. But
yeah, moved a little.
This chain is a little sticky, so it's going really slow. The other chain was really slick, so come on, get on there. Yep. Bad demo. Come on, get on there. Just trying to manually plug in the motor. There you go. So it'll follow it around, and also I'll have a black line on the styrene to make it look like it's following a line, but yeah, bit of fun. And then also I'll make that one look like I'll try and make it look like the line follower that we're going to use for the actual event. But I figured with the 6 can, I'll have a different looking little bot, probably like holding the can as well as it like kind of tries to go around the course. So yeah, bit of fun. So I'm glad it worked. I was like, if this fails, I'm going to have to do like just a static display. It's going to be boring, but I think this would be cool.
Hey, Mark, that's great.
Little mini track. It's pretty light, Doug. So I don't know how good your line follower can pull, how much it can pull, but I think it'll be all right.
Well, that's good, Mark.
Yeah, bit of fun.
I gave you a black star on that for significant progress.
Almost working. I appreciate it. All right, let me switch back here. There we go. Yep. That's it. Any questions? And I can get some links for like the original Magna Rail, which is really cool. It has like cyclists like cycling around this like railway and stuff. It's really cool. Little cars driving around.
What's at the scale for your project? Gotta say, I was surprised how micro that was.
I know.
I heard parade float somewhere, and it's like that set my expectations a little differently, but it's all good. What defined the scale?
Literally, I just eyeballed it. Like I wanted to make it as small as I could, and a centimeter seemed as small as I could go with having the structural integrity still in place.
But is this being pulled by another line follower?
It is. Yeah. So I don't remember last year, or if you've seen it, but Doug has a homemade line follower. That's what we're going to use as like the engine, and we're going to have a little mini Roby sitting on top of it, driving it, and it's going to have a little tow hook, and it's going to pull a float, and this is going to go on that float as like a DPRG, and then we're going to have like this thing going on.
So is the float like a two-wheel chariot or something?
Yeah.
Okay, I see.
There's going to be a few on the track, so we have to have the sensor on the front, so we don't bump into the person in front. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. But yeah, Eastfield College, April 11th, I want to say. So it's open to the public. I think we sent out information on the chat. So, but it's going to be
Is
fun.
there a typical scale for the other entrants? Is this an outdoor course or an indoor course?
No, I think it's indoor. But no idea. They did the guy did send me a picture of one of his bots, but it's not much bigger than ours. It'd be fun.
Okay.
So, if you can't make it, I'm sure Doug and I will take lots of photos and about lots of gossip. Yeah.
Looks cool.
Yeah, it's fun. Something different. I do have a good challenge. All right, Pat.
Thanks, Mark. Next up, we have Doug.
Okay, well, following up with what Mark said, I think I just showed you this. This is our tractor for the thing for what Mark's float is going to be on. So this is where it's going to hook on. And this is a Robbie that he designed, and I put it on I just enclosed my normal little line follower. I can get it back on there. Where is that? Come on, Doug. There it is. And last week I was telling everybody how frustrated I was with this ultrasonic sensor, which is it uses UART. Well, after talking to my friend Chat some more, and also reading some of the documentation more thoroughly, read the manual, I found out that it did a few things that I didn't know. Well, most of these line sensors have two modes, one where you do a single shot and it gives you a single reading, and one where it's continuously reading and giving you values. Well, it turns out that when this one is done in the UART mode, it only gives a single shot. You have to initiate a reading. So I had to send the protocol is you send it some character, and then it sends you back 3 characters, and those 3 characters go through a formula to end up with the correct line distance. And that all works. It's 9600 baud, and it's not modifiable. That's not a good word, but anyway, the whole point of it is if you do the calculations, for it to send 3 bits at 9600 takes 3 milliseconds. So if you think, well, okay, what happens in 6 milliseconds? That gives 3 milliseconds for it to get a reading. Well, it can read using the sound. The speed of sound it can take about 16 inches. And we're expecting it to be only 4 to 6 inches away, so it'll be less than 3 milliseconds. So anyway, that's going to take me some time to do some modifications to the code, because on the line following as it currently was written, it just goes as fast as it can go. So I'm going to have to time the loop and also the good thing was that at least at this point, I think it's minor because this is, this has been built a couple of years ago, several years ago. And so not having to redo it would be, or modify the pins and stuff would be really nice. But it turns out that I actually have a header here, right here, that's a UART being brought out, the 4 pins for a UART. So far, at least, it looks like I could just hook up to those 4 pins without modifying this robot at all to add that one ultrasonic sensor. So, if this one doesn't work well, I'll go to a TOF sensor, but I thought this is kind of old school. I thought I'd go that way, try it out.
That's just a virtual bumper to stop you from hitting the guy in front of you.
Yeah, what I want to do, Kareem, is essentially have them. Otherwise, you have to have a bumper for this thing. But what I wanted to do is set it so that we tail whoever's in front of us by 4 or 6 inches. Just pick a number, and we'll always stay 6 inches or 4 inches away from them. If he goes around a corner, we'll speed up to try to find him. You know what I mean? But the intent is to follow the leader at 4 inches. And that's what we're shooting for. I had essentially done this in a time when AVR and a few other things were more common. Atmel Studio and stuff like that, and all of those IDEs are essentially off my computer now. So I can do it in Visual Code. I just have to do it a little differently. So then I have to sort out all of the library files, where they got to go. So that it seems doable. I was hoping to have it done by today, but I got a new book, and so I ended up reading the book instead. When you're retired, sometimes it's hard to keep on focus. Okay, that was one thing that I wanted to talk about. But what I really wanted to talk about, let me put these up so I can just noticed I had them in there. I wanted to talk a little bit. This is more to stimulate some discussion and see what people think. And I got 2 parts to this, 2 parts. The first part is just the introduction page for my Arduino. And then the second part is my talking to my friend Chat to see what he thinks about all of this. So anyway, I'm going to do a share. And I'm going to share this. So okay, is it showing any? I don't see anything.
There you go.
You are presenting to avoid show my screen anyway. Okay. All right. So this is the Arduino, and I want to call it, I don't know if you would say Ventuno or Ventuno. You know what I mean? I don't know exactly how they're trying to pronounce this Q. And when you look at it, it's quite a board. We'll talk about prices and stuff later, because this is just hasn't been released yet. So it's supposed to come out in the next month, I believe. And so it's got 2 major processors. It's got a STM32 H5F5, which is supposed to be for their their immediate real-time type activities. And then they have a Dragon Wing IQ 8275 over here for essentially a Linux computer with also it's going to have NPU in it, a neural processor unit. So this is what they're saying. So it's going to have NPU. It's going to have a 16 gig of RAM on it and 64 gig of eMMC, which probably is enough to handle most the operating system and whatever thing else. And it will be a proprietary operating system. It won't I don't think you can put other than theirs on it. And the idea is it's real-time operations, Linux operations, neural network models being run here on the edge. Okay, so you kind of get the idea of what it's for. Then I'm going to see. Okay, yes, did work. All right. How does it do this? One stupid. Why is it showing two screens? Layout. View. Okay, view. Print. Well, okay, this is not the way I would wanted to do it, but let's do it this way. So I asked it, I think the prompt that started this off was what did chat think this was going to cost? And they said it's going to be under $300, and it's going to be actually in the second quarter, I should say. Its positioning is going to be high-end single base, so they're going up. Actually, NVIDIA is kind of their target, not Raspberry Pi. But we'll talk about that a little bit. It's got, like I say, it's got 16 gigs of memory, 64 eMMC, and also, in addition to having 64 gigabits of eMMC, it's going to have an NVMe slot, which allows you to put in your own SSD. So, let's see. So, let me get it. Okay, let's make a comparison matrix. So here it is between the Arduino, this new product, the Orlin Nano, and the Raspberry 5 with an AI hat. So these are the three. So if you're going to do this with the cheapest amount of money and give up and handle your real-time stuff separately, then the Raspberry Pi is going to be the cheapest because it's only going to be $60 plus $70 to $100 for the hat, where this is about $300. And this one, if you get the developer kit, it's about $400. All right. Now, they estimated that the AI performance to be between 10 and 20 tops, but they're claiming in their other that it's going to be 40. So this could be a mistake. And it's going to have triple camera support, so over 2. I personally have never used more than 1. Has anybody here ever used more than 1? I'm just curious. How about you, Chris? Have you used more than 1?
So more than 1
camera.
No.
Yeah. So anyway, but it's going to have it. So maybe that's something that's going to come here in the near future. it's got very reasonable power consumption. It's essentially the same as a Pi. And they're going to have Linux plus their Arduino AppLab, and that's the proprietary OR stuff. Serviceability, I won't go there. But they're saying this for robotics, and you can see why, because you have real time and non-real time. For heavy AI and for budget AI. And let's see what else did it. Okay, so this is just that. And I said, I think my prompt was, because of the cost, what is the prediction of whether this will survive or will become an orphan like the Arduino Intel boards? And they're saying they're very optimistic. They're saying that as opposed to the Galileo and the Curie boards, and also the Edison board, that they don't think they have the same conditions. Why those boards died, they say, is because Intel abandoned the whole line. We know that Broadcom isn't going to abandon the Dragon Wing. You can get the Dragon Wing. You could buy one today if you wanted to. It just pulled out of the single board computers completely. They were expensive. They were priced very high, and developers didn't adopt them. But in actuality, the Edison did have a lot of family. I mean, there was a lot of people using Edison boards, so I don't know. And they're saying this is because of the processors, and it fits Arduino identity. I don't know about that. Like I say, once they've abandoned one board, even though Intel was the cause, you got to kind of be worrisome about it. They're really saying is if the price creeps up of over 350, then it's going to be at a disadvantage. So that's kind of interesting. And so they gave the probability 70 to 80% that it would survive. I think it really depends on if it's adopted or not. And to me personally, the thing that I think is the most worrisome is the proprietary Arduino. What do they call it? I can't remember the name of it. AppLab. I'm not sure about that. I guess I'm saying no, don't buy the first one. Okay. Okay. Anyway, here was the risk. That's the prediction.
70 to 80% failure.
Went on with some other things. So I guess the thought I had is, had anybody heard about this board? And anybody given it any thought? What's your first, after seeing this type of information, what do you think? I guess first of all, I would say for most of us, $300 for the processor is a little steep for most of us. As long as it can be done cheaper. All right. It might be more messy. This might be much better, a much stronger solution. So a faster solution. It might have a lot of advantages, but $300 is still $300. And for example, I haven't seen in the club a large adoption of NVIDIA boards, which, roughly are in that price range and more. You can spend more, but you can get bottom line NVIDIA boards for about that same price. Kareem, do you use NVIDIA on any of your projects?
Sorry. Yeah.
You do.
Okay, so we do. There's one. There's somebody who's using an NVIDIA. Somebody who's got, I mean, you know, a little bigger budget for basic robot.
I got a Jetson Super.
That's much more expensive though, isn't it?
No, it's 250 now.
250. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so that's good. All right, so I don't know. It seems to me like this is going to be. This sounds cool, but it sounds like price might be the real kicker, and price and adoption might be the real kickers. And then I guess it also depends on whether or not when it gets released, whether it's mature enough. You know, if it takes them another half year for them to get libraries in line and stuff like that, then I don't think it's going to go. But if they make it like an Arduino environment, essentially for the real time, and the other is just Linux and Pi, it could take off. I mean, it sounds sounds doable. So anyway,
I think Arduino is usually pretty good at getting things going out the gate pretty smoothly compared to some. But I think my big question is how much crossover there is between the usual Arduino crowd and people wanting to go up into AI. It's not necessarily a huge direct translation there. I don't know.
Yeah. From what I read, the ecosystem as well that they're looking at, their app that's proprietary, is quite rigid. Is in that there'll be apps developed for it, but you pretty much have to stick to the apps developed for it.
Yeah, that's
not a good sign.
Yeah.
That's just what I've read preliminary about the board.
And they haven't said what flavor of Linux it is either. Is that part of the proprietariness? Is it?
Yeah,
are they rolling their own flavor of Linux?
I think so.
I heard they were rolling their own. That's the other one I heard.
Yeah. And the other thing, Kareem, about it that another potential gotcha is Qualcomm. You know, they're very, 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 very tight-fisted with their intellectual property.
Yes, they are.
And they do not share anything with the community. So I was a little surprised. It's probably because they have some solution that they feel will be good enough, but I don't know. We'll see. But I think it's good for us to have. You can see where robots are going. Here's a solution that pretty much touches all the bases. Real time with a kick-ass real-time STM processor, a Snapdragon. I think it's a Snapdragon. Single board computer, which is really cool. And then, like I say, having its own NPU, which, depending on who you look, it's either 20 or 40 tops. I mean, you can't want much more than that. You know what I mean? I mean, that's pretty nice for situation right now. Like I said, I think I might let this one cook a quarter before I jumped in, but let's see how it does after it's released. Yeah, like I say, I think part of it is how Arduino they can make it. It does do one thing that's a little weird. It does retain. It has other headers on it, but it does retain where you can put a standard Uno style hat, yeah, except it's underneath. So instead of being like this, it fits underneath somehow. At least that's the way I read it. Let's see.
Not a hat, it's a diaper. That's
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Arduino likes the term shield.
you see something? Oh, it's going to have ROS2 compatibility for those who are using ROS. I don't know what robotics bricks are. I hope this isn't some sort of visual coding brick program. If it is, that's a way. I mean, that's like ask anybody who's going to spend $300 on a board this complex. They're not going to be using a brick, you know, a brick type interface to program with. So I don't know. That sounds a little weird. But if they mean by bricks having, you know, if a brick is now a library, that might make sense. Yeah. And apparently it's going to have a couple of, you know, gesture recognition, object tracking stuff ready to run AI models. It doesn't say where. I'm not familiar with Qualcomm's AI Hub. I don't know if that's their model zoo, their zoo model or what. So I'm not sure. And anyway. Anyway, I just thought I'd throw this out because it was kind of like pre-release, and I thought it might be interesting for people to comment on.
That one said 40 tops.
Yeah, that's here and there on their website, they're claiming 40 tops. I mean,
that's what Google AI said as well.
Yeah, did it? Okay. So anyway, based on that, that's kind of cool. I think that going to 16 gig and having 64 gig of memory already for you to put your program in and everything, store all your Linux stuff, is probably good unless it needs that much to run. I don't know. So anyway, I thought I'd throw that out, let people think about it. And anybody have any comments, I guess?
Well, do you have a use for it?
Oh, it's shiny and new. Oh, Chris, what
What a bummer question.
Question. Oh my God.
He had an extra $300 in his pocket that he wants to get rid of because it's weighing him down.
Yeah, well, no, that's a legitimate question. It depends.
Burning a hole in his pocket.
Yeah, you obviously don't need, you know.
If you can afford to buy it, you can afford to make up a reason for it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, there you go. I mean, I'm sure it's one of those things, you know, I'd hate to see one of these in a place where somebody's could have done the same thing with an ESP32 or an Uno. You know, I mean, this is not, you know, if you're building little indoor robots, I don't see this as player. I mean, unless you want to run some AI model. So it's probably, in my idea, would be aimed at the bigger robots. It might make sense in a Robo Columbus. It might be a more integrated solution than what people are trying right now. But can you accomplish that? You know, we've had many people accomplish Robo Columbus with much cheaper solutions. Well, that's one of those things. I don't know if you name all the things you spent your money on to get your Robo Columbus going, I don't know if it's any cheaper, but.
Yeah, but it's not $300 on one component.
Yeah, you don't have, this would definitely rank up there as one of the bigger components. I mean,
It used to be GPS RTK was $300. Now what? It's like maybe half that.
150. Yeah. Yeah. And I still like the solution that I think it was DF Robot, but it might have been Seed that I got. The one that has the two little modules that stand alone that I showed last year. I mean, that was, I think it was $160, and you didn't have to have anything other than what you got there. And
I'd like to see what's happening with that one we reviewed last week from Hackster.io.
Yeah.
Sub $100 RTK.
Yeah, but you got to be careful there. You got to be careful there, Pat. How are you gonna set up your base station?
That's what I want to know more about.
Yeah, if you're ending up having to get a 4G card and doing all of this stuff, and before you know it,
the application is that it could get the correction factors via Wi-Fi or Bluetooth or whatever, but that it needed to have the correction factors from somewhere else.
Yeah. So I'm just saying that I think there's a set of chips that all of these things are using that's a pretty good breakthrough. Okay. Otherwise, it's a lot cheaper than what was available before. But I prefer the solution like where, in my case, for just Robo Columbus, where I have a base station with a LoRa
range radio.
Radio, and I have a radio on my robot and its own personal GPS, and they're doing it. That's all you need, that $160 package. And both of them have easy interfaces to use. One of them has a serial interface, and the other one has a power plug, and that's it. I think that you don't have anything else you need to worry about. And you can do some things. You can take it out of its case and you can screw around with it, but I'm not sure I want to. I'm much rather a turnkey. So
I'm predicting next year, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, they were $900 for a set.
That's exactly right.
And they were $300 for a set. Now they're $150 for a set.
Yeah.
And next year they're going to be $25 each. $50 for the set.
Yeah, that'll be cool. Well, what would be nice is if they had one that could, on your robot, had everything you needed to get to a cellular connection. So if the next step, if I were going to buy a new one, it would be one where the kit that was on the robot had a cellular connection, and so that way you could talk over the cellular network, because we're never going to be in any place where you don't have cellular.
You haven't come up here, obviously.
Yeah, it's getting. I went down to East Texas to do a hiking trip, and that was kind of a shock. And once we got, out there in the hills, and I could hear the banjos playing, my cellular just wasn't very, very, it wasn't there, So anyway, yeah, but and even in Farmersville they have cellular. So what can I say? Now even Ray has cellular out in his place.
Yeah.
Those were message encoding banjos, right?
Yeah. So,
yeah, I don't think you wanted to hear what they were saying though. So.
But anyway, so I think yeah, you're right. The biggest bummer is, and the higher bar than we set, is that at Robo Magellan, you can use GPS, but that's it. You can't use any of this fancy weird stuff. They won't let you. So if we ever had the desire to take a robot up to Robo Magellan, to run against their robots, we'd have to have a solution that doesn't use this type of, dual GPS. You can only use standard. And I think the next thing is they're filling out, what is it, Kareem? There's a band 9, a L9 band or something that's not completed yet. And that's probably the next big advance we're going to be seeing.
Yeah, it's L5, I think. And,
is it L5? Okay. Yeah.
I'm not 100%, but I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
And yeah, the Chinese satellites were some of the first to deploy it, and
Yeah.
the U.S. A lot of them have it, but it's not universal, and a lot of the chipsets don't support it yet. The newest ones do.
Yeah. And I did see that even SparkFun had come out with a new setup too, and I don't know what the price was. I just saw that it went by.
I think the one that you reviewed, I've got one of them too. The lower price, the $160, or
Yeah.
they're about $75 per module, and with the antenna.
Yeah.
And I believe those are L5 sensitive, yeah. But I think they don't have something else like L1 or L2. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I think I decided that I could not use it like interoperability wise. I couldn't use it with my U-block stuff because you had to have because the U-blocks, the older U-block stuff doesn't have L5.
Yeah.
And
well, don't they also in U-block they have their own system that's supposed to boost it too? If you use their,
they have a separate satellite service.
Yeah.
That you can and on a lot of these chipsets have access to satellite, so you don't have to use N-trip or Wi-Fi or whatever to get your fix. They are not quite as accurate. They're usually advertised down to about 10 centimeters. But the benefit is you don't need cell service. You can get it anywhere in the world. But it's as remote as you want to get, just about. I mean, I don't know if they cover all of the latitudes way up into Alaska, but you can go just about anywhere. But it's pricier per month.
Yeah, that's also, yeah. But I think
it's completely dedicated.
Turn it off, can't you?
I think they do have a plan where you can just turn it on when you need to.
Yeah.
I don't remember. But it's still pretty pricey.
Yeah.
And it's completely dedicated, right? It doesn't give you anything else. It doesn't give you any other kind of data.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, the question started off with talking about the new Arduino chip, our Arduino board that's coming out next quarter. And the question is, it might have some promise. Things that we ought to be aware of it at least. So we're now aware of it.
I'll wait for the first deep reviews. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. When the guy on YouTube is saying it's the neatest thing since sliced bread, then it might be worth looking at. But and it'll also be interesting to see what their final price comes out at. If the price comes out at $400 because they can't keep it, or if it's then or if they come out with, yes, it's $300, but you need this special, special battery pack, and you need this special this and all of that, and we've had the Pi 5 now for a couple of years. I'm curious, it's about time for them to come out with something new. Has anybody heard any rumors on that?
Nope.
I haven't either.
I think they're struggling with memory, and I don't think they're going to release anything new for a while.
Okay, well, that's good. I hate to get caught up in God, all the stuff I have is now obsolete.
Well, they did release a 1 gig version of the Pi 5, did they not?
Yeah.
Yes, they did.
So that was the last one released, I believe. And then there's their keyboard monitor thing, the 500 plus they released.
Yeah, but that's just their, they take one of their Pi modules and stick it in a keyboard, right?
In a keyboard, yeah. So it gives you
Yeah.
essentially a desktop Pi with a keyboard,
Yeah.
USB slot to attach a mouse and a monitor.
And I've looked at the keyboard and it sucks. You know what I mean? It's one of those little chiclet kind of small jobbers. I mean, yes, it'll do the job. Okay. But I much rather on my Pis is just to take a good old keyboard and stick it in there. You know what I mean? So I don't have to have my fingers crimped up or not. But
Mechanical clacky keys.
yeah,
And
yeah,
everyone-
that's mine.
They need to make one with Tom's keyboard.
Huh?
They need to make one with Tom's keyboard he showed last week.
Yeah. Okay.
I posted a couple links for that Ed had sent to me, and
Okay.
the first two are wrong links. So then I posted the correct links,
Yeah.
and I see he just posted another one. By the way, Doug, I gave you a black star for progress on your parade float with the progress made with your ultrasonic
Okay.
sensor.
Well, hopefully, like I say, I'm probably going to have to meet with Mark sometime over there at the space here this week, but I want to get the ultrasonic put in first and have it programmed up. Mark, keep it small. Don't get grandiose. Keep it small.
Yeah.
Because I
I'm
hate to get there and find out we're a half inch too long, you know. And you got to put a rear bumper on it.
Yep.
Yeah, but that's just probably just like a 1 millimeter thick slab.
Yeah. I think the whole back side of it will just be a solid slab.
Yeah.
I was going to say,
With a
I
big spike on
seriously
it.
doubt they'd throw you out for being just a half inch too big, you know.
Hey, Mark, the big spike sticking out of it. You know.
There you go.
There you go. Screw.
The finger clamps. Poke people away.
Push them back. Push them back. Yeah. Anyway, we'll see. So hopefully next week we might have something that we can show going around on a track. That would be cool.
I still think you should have put a servo on the steering wheel and had his little arms, you know.
Man. Yeah.
Random turns.
We still could.
That sort of stuff is not good. I'm not good at
Yeah,
it.
that
I'm
sort of
more worried
stuff.
might have to put some weight in the front of it to counterbalance the weight of that guy sticking on the back. Because the last thing we don't want is, he's going along and hits a bump or something and does this number on us, drops the parade float because the hook on the back comes undone, and the robot's up there saying, I've got nothing. Yeah.
Or the robot gets dumped out onto the track.
Yeah. So we'll see how it goes. We'll know after we test it. And like I say, I'm hoping we can do that this week. Yeah. So, okay. I guess that's it. All I had.
Thanks, Doug. I was curious. You mentioned that their Arduino Ventuno. They also had the last one that came out not that long ago. Was it a couple months ago? And I haven't heard very much uptake on that. You don't see, projects being done with the second last one they had.
Yeah.
So
It was cheap, only $40, I think, as the intro price.
Was it only $40?
I think so, yeah. I don't know if it stayed that way for very long, but yeah, that's what I remember.
I don't know. That was the Ventuno or whatever without the Q, right?
That was the Ventuno, was the one you just presented, but I forget what the other one was called.
Well, I think this is the Uno Q. Okay.
Okay.
And I think the one they released was just Ventu, but I might be wrong.
I know Uno
It didn't generate a lot of interest in me. Okay. I mean, but
I'm just looking it up.
I've got so many processor boards. I have no desire, to.
It was the Uno Q.
Oh, it's the Q that they kept. Okay.
The Uno
Right.
Q.
What was it, Pat? What did it have on it?
Can
you share the page so we can see
And
it?
another Qualcomm part on it. I know that.
Let me go grab a link and I'll share it. Oh,
And it had a Charlie pixel area.
I can share it on that guy maybe. Share. Let's share a screen. Let's share my other computer screen. So can you guys see that?
Mm-hmm.
So Arduino Uno Q 4 GB. And its overview. It's not going to let me make it bigger. There it is.
Well, that's got a Dragon Wing in it too.
Yeah, it's got a Linux Debian capable Qualcomm Dragon Wing QRB2210 microprocessor with a real-time STM32 U585 microcontroller.
Mm-hmm.
It's Arduino. It's a computer. It's anything you want to build.
Well, that's definitely a lot cheaper solution.
So it's a 4 gig of RAM, 32 gig eMMC.
Mm-hmm.
Intend to use your Uno as a single board computer. Your application requires running multiple simultaneous high-level processes. Plan to use larger, more complex AI or machine processing models such as high-resolution computer vision or sophisticated audio processing. You need substantial built-in storage for logs and data and/or a robust development environment. The Q is the go-to tool. All-in-one toolbox combines a powerful Dragon.
Is it using their developer app or whatever too?
I believe so. Seamless unified build.
Yeah, there it is. Arduino AppLab.
Arduino AppLab.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
I'd be
was only
curious as to
60.
what you can do with the vision processing on it.
Well, that would be a definite good way to test out whether this is the solution or not. What's that? Is that some sort of LED array?
That's a matrix LED on the top.
Yeah, like a Charlie pixel.
That like they released in one of their last Arduinos. But on the bottom, so they have quite the headers.
Yeah, it looks like a standard STM32 header.
Yeah.
ARM header. Yeah.
Oh.
Like they put on the Nucleo boards.
So the top of it has the standard Arduino header.
Yeah.
And the bottom.
What is that? Does that flip it over again? Is that with it? With their? Is that their? Is that their MPU on there? That little silver thing that they have over? No, that's an antenna on it.
That's Wi-Fi. It looks like that's an antenna.
Okay.
Click the image again.
The bottom side.
No, the top part. And once you're in it, click the image.
Oh,
it'll go bigger.
Bigger. There you go.
Okay.
So it's got a MAC address, so I'm assuming that's a Wi-Fi.
Yep. Oh, it's got an antenna too.
It's got an SM Connect XNC
and
or whatever.
Built-in antenna also, so you have a choice.
What else did they show? The bottom image, up big.
Now, is this a knockoff board, or is this the?
This is Arduino's board. This is right on the Arduino site.
Okay, yeah, because I asked chat whether or not what was the chances of these boards being cloned, for $5 by the Chinese next year? And the answer is no, because the Dragon Wing stuff is essentially, you have to have a special license to be able to use it.
Okay.
So it's very unlikely that these will be cloned.
So my question is, so there's a USB camera somewhere.
Yeah.
There's 2-channel, was it a MIPI?
Yeah.
CSI camera?
Yeah.
A Modulino, whatever that is, a monitor.
Yeah.
And the keyboard mouse. So I'm assuming you need either that can go out to a hub, or you got to have an adapter board for all of that.
Yeah, because I don't see any USB headers on it.
Yeah, so there's just the USB-C that I see there. So there is a quick connect for I2C.
Yeah.
There's JCTL. I don't know if that's a JTAG programmer port.
Yeah.
There's a JSPI.
Okay, yeah, flip it over just to see on the backside what they got again. How are they pulling out I wonder how they're pulling out the USB for the keyboard and everything.
Yeah, well, that's where I'm guessing it's these the headers there, 1.8 volts on both of those. So there's got to be a proprietary board that plugs into this guy. So I don't know. On the top side.
Yeah, I don't see any camera connectors either. So.
Yeah, I don't. Good point.
Yeah, so I'm guessing it's all on another board somewhere.
So
if we go looking, is there any accessories? Choose your favorite.
Oh, it's got a modular place somewhere.
Yeah, there they are. Okay. Don't cooperate.
Well, those don't look like big.
No, I think those are just.
Got to be more than that. Those are only $11, $6.
Quick connectors on the ends too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they look small.
Look, it's free. It's free. It's
Yeah,
free.
DroneBot Workshop did 2 videos on the Uno Q.
He did 2 videos. He released 2 of them.
Yeah.
Okay,
One was 3 months ago.
so there's a couple here. So there's a robot built on it. So $60, $59 out of the US store.
Yeah, but I got a feeling that's only a partial cost.
Yeah.
I don't see enough headers there to really be able to do all the things this claims. And if this has got a Snapdragon, which means that you're going to be using Linux, you're going to have to, I guess you can SST into it. I guess you could do that.
Yeah. So there's a I2C bus being used. But I was looking to see if there's a board somewhere.
Oh, guys, I just found a video where they were showing them hooking up to a USB hub to do all the stuff. So they were connecting a monitor and keyboard on the hub.
So it's USB on the go.
Yeah.
You can plug in a monitor and a keyboard and a mouse and whatever.
Yep.
A camera maybe.
So, but there's only one USB-C plug there?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's going to go to a hub?
Yeah, that's what I saw.
So it's a powered hub, I assume.
Yep. Yeah, let's see if I can do a screen for you.
I will stop sharing.
Let's see. No, I just raised my hand. Sorry, it's been a while since I've shared. Okay, here we go. Yeah. There is, you guys seen that, the USB-C hub?
Okay.
Okay.
3-amp adapter.
Yeah.
So it looks like you can get an HDMI out of it.
So they haven't shown a
You
camera.
can probably power the Arduino from it.
Yeah, that's what
From
the
the hub.
yeah, that's what this guy is over here. So it
Show
has
the
a
power USB.
USB PD. Oh God.
Yeah, it's
But
just
they
more
don't
of a
show camera.
docking station where, it has the built-in, the HDMI output. So some of those hubs have actual RJ45 Ethernet in it also.
Hmm.
Right. It's really more of a docking station if you think about it.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have one USB 3 with Ethernet and USB connectors on it. I've got another one, but it's plugged in running my sound and my sound and my microphone.
Yeah.
Speakers and a microphone, and I don't know if it has an HDMI out. So it's
Okay.
USB-C to a hub.
It's an interesting board, actually. If it didn't have those silly LEDs and instead a small little OLED display, it would make it a lot more useful.
Yeah, I'm not
I
sure.
agree.
I wonder about those LED matrices like that. I mean, I know it appeals to to young students, but I can't imagine it appealing to anybody else. Most people would rather have some sort of display, I think.
Yeah, even something small just to display some status,
Yeah.
what's my address, I mean, you don't need anything big.
Yeah.
So it says storage is 32 gig of eMMC built-in storage, no SD card required.
Yeah.
Connectivity is dual Wi-Fi 2.45 gigahertz and Bluetooth 5.1.
Mm-hmm.
So high-speed headers, power advanced peripherals, vision, audio display, but they're not showing anything that plugs into them as of yet.
Well, they don't show anything, any headers on it that I saw.
And then it's a USB connector, power delivery, video output, or connected keyboard, mouse, USB microphones, or USB cameras via a dongle.
Yeah, but
Looking at what a USB-C hub has, it has HDMI output. It has a couple USB-C connectors and a couple of the type A's, and you can plug in a
Oops.
Oh, we lost them.
Seems like that might be a bottleneck. I mean, you have a board with all that performance and everything has to go through one USB port.
USB-C is powering the monitors I'm watching the video on right now. My microphone, my speaker, everything is going through a USB a docking station.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, if it's the modern USB and if the processor really supports it well, then you can pump a lot of data through that.
Oh yeah, I run two 24-inch monitors off of a docking station plugged into USB-C on my laptop.
No issues with
It'll run the 3 monitors. Like if I open my laptop, it'll run 3 monitors, all different pages, no problems. So I think, to me, this one here, the Uno Q with the 4 gig, might be something to look at. But yep. I'm still leery about the their app, Arduino AppLab.
Yeah. Unfortunately, you have to almost, I guess we.
But you don't have to use that, right? I mean, there's.
Yeah, no, you have to use it if you want to do any neural network stuff.
Well, sooner or later, someone's gonna come up with a board support package. It's gonna be supported by Platform IO or whatever. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, it would be nice to see, you know, putting a regular version of Linux on it, and be, you know, to be able to add packages, do whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
You know, can you put ROS on it and do some real time stuff with the STM32? It would be interesting, or vision processing. It would make a nice small processor if you could do, you know, for 6CAN, if you could do vision processing and some hardware stuff in it.
Yeah.
And it's almost affordable.
Pat, did that article talk about the interface between the Linux side and the STM side? What kind of an interface is it?
I haven't seen anything about it.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks like Amazon has a 2 gig model for $44.
Okay.
So,
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that interface is even USB.
So preloaded on the Uno Q comes AppLab, combines Arduino sketches, Python scripts, and containerized AI models into fully integrated applications, all managed from a single interface, which is the AppLab. Ready to use apps and bricks. And that's one of them I had read about the newer version of the newer one Doug presented, is that you're limited by what's in the AppLab for essentially programming. Until, like you say, somebody comes up with something else, another way to expand it.
Well, you know, most of these guys have model zoos that allow you to do pretty, you know, a good selection of models. You know, the real thing you got to do is can you retrain them on your data? You know, can you run a version of the model with your data and actually put it up on the machine and get it to work? Okay, that's you know, if you can do that, that's cool. There's a lot of solutions that are edging towards that. I understand that, like when Raspberry Pi came out with their what was it? Their 13 tops little neural network boards. You know, first they did not work under Bullseye. It's not until they got the new one, what it was, Cella or something like that. I don't know. You know, have you guys know that there's a new? Okay, there's a new version of Raspbian, and apparently they now work. So, I mean, I tried to fight that battle back, you know, a year ago, and I could get it up to the point where I had to be able to take the convert the last model format to this particular modules format. I don't know whatever it was, and I could never get their converter program to work. And so after a while, I just gave up. And it turns out that no, it just didn't work. I mean, you know, they can't, that's what I'm afraid of would happen with the Arduino, is that they come out and they don't have, you know, they have a half-baked solution, and they sell a lot of them, but then nobody can get it to work. So I don't know.
Yeah, I'm on their website again, and I'm looking through to see if I can find anything. High-speed headers grow with new Arduino carriers. But,
yeah.
So there's a 2 gig version and a 4 gig version. But I haven't seen any of the headers that go, the carriers.
The new one, the Venuto, Ventuno has CAN in it too, where you just plug the CAN wires into it. Can you tell, Pat, does that have CAN sticking out of it? I would assume that if it has the STM, they're available, but I don't know if they're actually taken out.
So it doesn't mention CAN. So I don't see it mentioning CAN. It shows quick carrier, shows the USB. Now, if it's got USB, you might be able to add a USB CAN to it.
Yeah. Yeah, but the other one has a header for it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was just wondering if that one did. Let's see.
Yeah, it seems weird that they turn around and they provide all this processing power, and then the statement says, quick connector expands easily with the Modulino nodes. No soldering required. Well, it's a LED node. It's a encoder node. It seems more like for a testing type thing than a practical application for now, anyway.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a little, the fact that to get your ports, you actually have to add a hub, and they don't ever tell you that. It's kind of a little bit of a cheat, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm looking to see, is there any carrier boards out there for it, and I'm not seeing anything.
Well, they have a lot of little tiny sensor boards, but that plug into it apparently. But they're just minor things like buttons and stuff like that. I don't know.
Okay, I just put the link to DroneBot Workshop, getting started with it. If anyone is interested, I put that in the chat. And I'm just looking through the link here to see if there is a section on high-speed expansion. So there's JMedia and GMISC. But that's about all they mention. So I don't know if you can find a MIPI camera interfaces, a display interfaces. So do they sell a board that just plugs in?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I will say this. I mean, I don't know how to rank it next to a Raspberry Pi, but if this one's got Linux and an STM board, I don't know how fast they are or anything like that. And it would be interesting to see what the Linux experience is like on one of these boards.
I think if you go watch the
videos,
the DroneBot Workshop getting started video, and it may surprise you. I know I'm going to definitely watch the video and see what's going on with it.
I think it's low caliber, but
Sorry, Chris.
Go, Chris.
It's a lower caliber processor than the Pi 5.
It's a lower caliber, yeah.
Is it like a BeagleBone?
Oh no, it's way above a BeagleBone, but it's a little bit below Pi 5.
Okay.
Pi 5 is a Cortex 72, I believe, and this one's a Cortex A53.
So is this like a Pi 4?
Maybe, but I can probably look up the benchmarks, but I think it's probably more in that, or maybe between the 4 and the 5.
Okay, well, for $60, that's kind of in the right price. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if you can do vision
That can be
processing on it.
competitive.
Yeah, for Pi 5 with 8 gig though, isn't that over $100 now?
Is it?
I thought, yeah. I haven't looked at Microsoft or Micro Center in a while, but
Yeah.
I thought it was just over 100.
Oh, wow. What was it? It started off as $85, right?
Yeah, I'll look it up.
Okay.
Well, something for the next robot. You got 2 new processors to play with.
Yeah, something to think about. Well, it's good to talk about these things once in a while.
$59 or $300.
Well, the two, if you went with the 2 gig, I think it's 44, isn't it? You know what you? Oh no, wait a minute. Okay, I don't know what it is. Did you look it up, Ray?
It's
Was it
$44 US versus $59 US? The 2 gig versus the 4 gig.
Yeah,
And
on Amazon.
Double the memory, double the MMC. So the lower version has the higher version is 4 gig and 32 gig of storage, and the lower version is half of those, both of them.
Yeah, I think you'd, if you're only going to buy one, I think you'd be better off buying the bigger one.
If you spend $15 more, you get the bigger one.
Yeah, and you won't ever regret your purchase. You know what I mean? You hate to get one and you find out, well, now I can't. 16 gigabits is. If you think about it, in a Raspberry Pi, if you put a 16 gig SD card in there, have you ever used it up? Chances are, no, you haven't. You probably get away with a 4 or an 8 gig. You just can't. It's just not. Doesn't make sense because it doesn't cost anymore to get a 16 gig or a 32 gig.
I can't buy any more 32 gig SSDs for my Raspberry Pis. You keep having to buy bigger and bigger. I've never filled up a 32 gig SSD.
Yeah.
And now I'm finding whenever I could find some cheap 64 gigs that have decent specs,
64.
I've been using those.
Yeah.
Otherwise you're stuck putting a terabyte SSD on a Raspberry Pi for. Yeah.
What are you going to do? Yeah. Yeah. The biggest problem I've had with I was, when Mike was on, I went ahead and he had, I think it was Mike. There might've been another person who had a solution to get around the fact that if you want to pull power out of one of the USB ports on a Raspberry 5, you have to have a PD. You have to have a PD input for the power supply, and there is boards out there that do it. And whoever I was talking to was saying that you didn't need that. Well, I've looked at it, and I never found the solution that didn't need it. Do you know what I mean? You have to have one of these cards that gives you a PD input into your 5 volts. So,
from my understanding, you need a Rev 2 Pi 5 at the, they got rid of the problem with the power connector. And then to deliver the 5 amps or whatever, you need a PD board. Otherwise, you're not going to deliver the 5 amps.
Yeah, that's what I kind of think. That's what I read too. But, and like I say, he did recommend a PD card, but I haven't used it yet because I haven't done any Raspberry Pi 5 development in a while. But it's coming around, Oh, by the way, guys, if you go out to the website, I updated the contest for 2026, or at least as we know it. There's not a big surprise. There's nothing there that's abnormal, but there is one new rules document And that's the one that says that you can put as many robots as you want into a contest, but you have to declare which two that you're running for the competition, and anything over two is considered a demo. All right. So you can still run 2 robots in the competition, but you can't run 3 or 4. You can, but if you do, you have to declare 2 of them as demos. So you pick your best 2, you can't, and you got to do it before you run them. You can't wait to say, oh, well, this one did better than that one, so I'm counting that one. No, that doesn't work. So,
So
anyway,
that's the general rule for all the competitions?
Yes, for all competitions.
Mainly for Scott, though, I think, right?
And I also formalized the second rule. If you go out to the competition page and you look at it and you look at the rules down at the bottom, it has the document. It's very short, and it just says that you can have 2 robots, and I think the second one is there's a minimum bar that you have to pass. You can't have a brick. You can't get a place because you put a robot in the contest, and it did diddly. And the third one was that the judges can stop you from putting in a robot if they think it's unsafe, which is usually in all of our rule sets anyway.
You just
But,
knocked me out.
that's the only real change.
I can't enter a brick. You knocked me out.
Yeah, well, we've had that happen, not in a long, long time ago, maybe 15 years ago, where, okay, so we were giving prizes, okay? So person would say, well, hey, there's only 2 people running in this race, so I'll run in this race too, and I'll get third. And, the robot would just sit there. So
It was one of Kareem's kids, wasn't it?
Yeah, so we're trying to stop that. Yeah, it was the ultimate was when Dale Wheat, I think, took a brick and put tinfoil on it and put it on the start line. So I think that was the worst it ever got. So these guys like to game the system, so there's always somebody.
I like to put more effort than that into my projects.
Me too.
I may not get better results, but
yeah. Well, I've had them. It's really frustrating, and I know Mike had it this last Robo Columbus. I know how frustrating it is to put your robot on the start line, and it doesn't do anything. I mean, it just sits there, or even worse, it just kind of goes off into the weeds somewhere, and you're like, what in the heck? Yeah.
I had one of those a couple of years ago when I tried to run, and it just went in circles with my compass. So
yeah. I had one where I'd forgotten to change one of the waypoints somewhere, so it was in my test mode. So it was trying to go to my backyard, and oh man,
far away from Steve's place.
So I kept wondering why it was going. It was very consistent. But instead of going towards the cone, it would make a 90-degree turn, and it was just going off. And I was saying,
drive 42 miles in that direction.
Yeah. Anyway,
and more. Yeah.
Because this year, guys, we have to compete. I'm expecting. I want to see somebody take the 6-can crown. I don't think anybody's going to get 4 squares any better, but at least we could give them a run for the money. So,
and whoever it is, they have to yell at the top of their lungs, "I just kicked your ass."
Anyway, we'll see.
There's Mike in the fog.
Yeah, I see him there. Oh, here he's coming.
It's a dark tank night.
It looks like he's going by candlelight. Hi, Mike.
You're muted. And
You're
fuzzy.
muted.
I thought he was swimming.
Yay!
Yeah.
I just got back from a meeting, had some beers, so yeah.
Got anything, Mike?
No, I just wanted to catch up, and I wish I could be there next weekend or this Friday or Saturday, but I can't. So
Yeah. I'm looking forward to this Saturday. I want to. I know a lot of people have built this robot, and you know, since you work, Mike, with Ross too all the time. But they're claiming this thing is turnkey. I'm curious if it really is.
That's great. I mean, I think I made, well, I hate to call it a mistake, but I thought the life cycle of ROS 2 to design your nodes to be life cycle, which means they sequence up and down, was a good idea, but it goes up, but it doesn't go down cleanly for me. So, and I don't know what I'm doing wrong. So I'm in the process of converting all my nodes to non-life cycle.
Okay.
Because right now it's unreliable. So it's like,
well, we'll try to record this. I don't know what Mark's got set up for it, but I assume we're going to try and record it so people can watch it. Like I say, I think Paul set it up, but it might have been Mark. But they're going to actually have the guy who's created the project. It'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Was the intent to go through all the steps to get it up and running, or?
Well, his description is,
we'll just have to let us see what he wants to think.
I said he was going to talk about it, but
will feature talk by the creator, Maker's Pet robot kit.
Yeah.
And in-person and virtual, presented from Los Angeles. After the presentation, there'll be question and answers.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I think he's just going to present the kit, present what it can do, and
okay.
Yeah, what would really be cool to see is people who have these robots like Mark, kind of report, well, okay, I have it, but I haven't been able to do this, or I haven't been able to do that, and get his input to that, like, oh, well, the reason why you can't do that is because you haven't done this, or you know what I mean? Find out where that would be really cool to get. I think Paul has built this, and I know Mark might actually have 2 of them. I'm not sure. And
he's built kind of a neat outer shell for the thing.
Do you have one, Mike? Have you built one of these?
Oh, no.
No. Okay.
So on Discord, they said it just works out of the box. So I'm curious.
How do you customize it?
Well, I'm sure you can customize it for
right.
But the idea
without breaking, customize it without breaking it.
Oh well, don't run it off the tabletop.
Oh, I'm talking about the code, but yeah, yeah, cool.
Yeah,
ROS is fairly adaptable, so I'm guessing that you can add the modules you want into there, but you're going to have to massage the code.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. It looks like he was trying. The thing that they kind of guarantee, if I understand it right, is the navigation stack will work.
Yeah.
And
that's the hard part. Yeah.
Yeah. The navigation stack will work, but I believe it uses the L19 LIDAR.
Yeah, I was a little surprised because I know why he did it. He did it for cost.
Yeah,
but that's not really the best LIDAR that's not the LIDAR I would have chosen. But
I have a C1, and I would have liked to see, okay, well, can it work with a C1 at least to get things going?
Yeah,
right. I have a C1 too. Yeah.
So
also,
I'm curious. I'd like to see how the software is arranged on, because it runs from a laptop. So how are the packages and everything arranged on the laptop? How does it work?
Yeah.
And I know that it sends commands wirelessly to the robot.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious to see how it all fits together, and if it's ROS, typically it's portable. You can move things around or whatever. So is it possible to put it onto a Pi, and take the code, put it onto a Pi, and have it run from a Pi on a robot?
Right. Yeah. Localized.
Localized onto a standalone solution by itself.
Right. Right.
So
No,
if it works,
I believe the only processor on it is a ESP32.
Right. But if you put a Pi, if we put a Pi on there, then it could be everything on board on a bigger robot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. But there's what I'm trying to say is whatever he's got, you know, we all probably have an extra ESP32 somewhere.
Right.
You could probably make your own. If you don't like his particular little design, you know, it's kind of small.
Yeah.
And you might not like it. I'm sure you could create another robot base and just use the same processor, and all the programming should work.
Oh yeah, yeah. But we're talking about like the nav stack is on the notebook. It's not local on the.
Yeah.
So it's the nav stack. I'm interested in see how he's got it all working, and
yeah, that would be a good question, Pat, to ask him. Is this, can you put this on a Pi? I mean,
if we were looking to, so number one, can we change the LIDAR? Is there a way, how can we go in, grab the normal, because there is a ROS 2 package for the C1 LIDAR.
Yeah,
yes,
I use it.
Yeah. So is there a way that we can load the C1 LIDAR into there? And is it compatible? I'm not sure if it's got less increment per degree for your scan. I'm not, you know, how would that work?
Yeah, I've used two LIDARs with ROS. One is a S2 and one is a C1, which have completely different degrees, you know, resolution. And as long as it's a scan laser type of topic, which is what the LIDAR package generates, AMCL just grabs that and doesn't matter. It just uses what it gets.
Okay. Yeah. Doesn't matter if you have a resolution at 10 scans per rotation or 500 scans per rotation.
I mean, the package will work. I mean, the navigation will work, but it could work better with more, right? But yeah, I think.
So yeah, so that's what I'm curious to see is, you know, is it adaptable? Are there things you can do with it? Because if everything is set up for your navigation, if you could substitute, you know, the L19 LIDAR for the C1 LIDAR, is it still going to work? Part of that thing. And then, well, migrating it off to a Pi, well, that should be fairly okay to do.
Yeah, it should be. Yeah.
Just curious.
Yeah.
Instead of me having
you guys need that, Mike, when you've done some with the Pi and the SP32, haven't you? Have you done one with, or just a Pi?
ROS runs on a Pi.
Okay.
And then I usually use the RP2040 for my sensors and stuff, for my microcontrollers.
So are you using I2C to do the transfer? Or
USB serial. Yeah.
USB serial. Okay.
Yeah, because the Pi has nice USB ports. And
yes, that's true. Good point.
It supplies the power and gives you the serial, and it's a nice connection.
Yeah, gotcha. I understand.
Yeah, it looks like he had two build setups, one for, you know, a Windows laptop using Dockers, and the other was, you know, a Linux computer. I don't remember which Ubuntu version it was, but
and you could also just run Docker on the Pi, and it should work, right? Theoretically.
Yeah,
that's what I'm doing with mine. Is I have Docker running on the Pi, and you know, I'm able to communicate with the LIDAR over USB, and you know, that sort of thing. But it's you have to set all of this up, and you have to get your Docker set up properly, and
well, little details. Yeah.
Supposedly, if you're using Ubuntu, it just works.
Yeah, I don't use Docker. I just use Ubuntu natively.
Yeah. Instead of trying to use Raspbian and Docker.
Right. So on the on my Roborama robot, I have a Pi 4 because that's just what I had at the time. and I use a server version of Ubuntu. But on the Robo Columbus robot, I use a Pi 5 and I run the desktop version of Ubuntu. Yeah, that's just what I do.
All of these opportunities for the competitions.
Well, you know, May's only going to be what, 2 months away. So
I know. I gotta get my code solid so I can get it debugged.
yeah,
Because I hated because I got to the point where I had to, if I made a change to the code and tried to rerun it on a ROS run, I would almost have to reboot the computer every time. so that this doesn't work. So
yeah.
so I'm recoding it, the structure.
Well, guys, I'm going to have to drop off.
All right.
I really appreciated you guys at least looking at that Arduino board and giving your thoughts about it. I was curious of what others were thinking. All right. Adios.
Bye. Glad I made it. Bye.
Yeah.
Okay, guys.